What is up, everyone? John here. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we are flipping this coin, this piece of silver, 1,000 times. I'll speed that up, but I am going to have all of the data here on my iPad. Why am I doing this? There is a reason, but I'll share it at the end. I would assume that most of us would think it should be around 50-50. We're gonna find out. So if you're brave and bold enough and you wanna make a prediction in the comments, by all means do. All right, let's get started. So I got through my first 100 flips. And right now we are currently at 51 heads and 49 tails. So, I mean, it is practically about 50-50. All right, 900 more flips to go. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I just had the longest streak so far. We're about 150 flips in. So I wound up flipping tails 7 times in a row. We're about a quarter of the way through, and that intended pun would have actually landed better if I was using a quarter, but it doesn't, because we're using this monstrosity. So here are the results so far for the first 250 flips. Heads at 116, tails is winning with 134. Only 750 more flips to go.
Round 2.
So this is pretty crazy, but it actually wound up being literally 50-50 for this round. Both heads and tails having 125. So I just finished 500 flips. I'm going to add up the numbers here and we'll see where we're at. All right, so right now I'm editing this video. We are at the halfway point, and it made me think about how coins have two halves. And it also made me think about two characters who flip coins to determine the fate of people. Now, the good news here is that I will not be flipping a coin determining your fate. Although I will be flipping a coin to determine whether or not you like or subscribe this video. Heads, you subscribe. Tails, you like. All right, tails it is. You gotta like the video. Two characters that I was thinking about was one who literally is like split in half. Two-Face from the comics, cartoons, and movies of Batman. And the other one is Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. Also a great film by the Coen brothers. Which one to you is the better? Let me know in the comment section below.
Call it.
Okay, so I'm done with the third round. We're about to add up these numbers, and I have a feeling that heads did make some ground. I'm not sure if it came out. Heads made a little ground this third round with 127, and tails is at 123. I flipped. And I flipped. And I flipped. I flipped until I almost flipped out of my flipping chair. Here's the final flip. So this fourth and final round actually wound up being the same as the first round, with heads 116 and tails 134. All right, let's add them up and see the results. That brings our grand total to heads 484 and tails 516. Now, in a weird way, I just expected this to be a lot more lopsided because tails just crushed it the first and final rounds. But when you look at the actual numbers here, 484 to 516, if you think about percentage-wise, That's heads 48.4% of the time and tails 51.6% of the time, which is still pretty darn close to 50-50. It's not really that far off. All right, let's talk about some of the outliers that happened during this experiment. So going through this, if I've seen everything correctly, there wasn't a whole lot of heads, tails going back and forth. The longest streak I had of that was in the third round, and that basically happened 7 times, where it went from tails to heads, tails to heads, tails to heads, tails. A lot of times, as you can even just see from this round here, that there's chunks, like there's, you know, 2 heads, 3 tails. So let's talk about the biggest streaks that happened, and they happened in the last round. So we had tails do an insane 12 flips in a row. I don't know exactly what happened there. I was doing my best to just flip the heck out of the coin because I wanted as much randomness as possible, but it just so happened that it kept on landing tails. Then in the very next round, heads did 11 flips in a row. Now, it just so happened to be the very last set of 25 that had the most imbalance. We had sets of 8 and 17 or 17 and 8, but the very last round, tails just absolutely pummeled heads 18-7. So that was the most imbalanced set of 25. So why did I do this experiment? Well, I guess I have to say I've always been a little bit curious myself that if I flipped a coin 1,000 times, how close would it be to around 50-50? And lo and behold, it wasn't too far off. But I also wanted to use this video as an example to just show the power of volume, being prolific. Now, I want to first say that life does not work out, as simple as a 50-50 win-loss ratio. When it comes to certain things, it just doesn't work that way. But I do believe there is something to just getting your reps in. If you put in 1,000 iterations of something, you increase your chances of winning. So for simplicity's sake, let's just say that heads constitutes a win and tails is a loss. If we had only flipped the coin 10 times, at best, we could have only won 10 times. But since we had flipped the coin 1,000 times, that gave us the opportunity to get 484 wins. And I just happen to think that there are so many chances that we don't take. And I'm not even talking about risky situations where we could gamble or lose money or anything like that. Maybe we're procrastinating, maybe we're perfectionists, maybe we're afraid of looking stupid, maybe we don't want other people to see us fail. And so I just want to encourage as many people as possible, myself included, to just go out there and just do things. Like, just do more things.
1,000 things.
What did you take away from this whole experiment? Was there anything that you found to be interesting? Something that was unexpected? If you made it through this far, I want to thank you so much for watching. I'm not really sure what I'm doing next for my next video, so if you're curious about that, hit that subscribe button. Take care, and we'll see you next time.